Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey, and every weekday I read one chapter of the Bible and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 25. Then this message came to me from the Lord. Son of man, turn and face the land of Ammon and prophesy against its people. Give the Ammonites this message from the sovereign Lord. Hear the word of the sovereign Lord. Because you cheered when my temple was defiled, mocked Israel in her desolation, and laughed at Judah when she was away in exile, I will allow nomads from the eastern desert to overrun your country. They will set up their camps among you and pitch their tents on your land. They will harvest all your fruit and drink the milk from your livestock, and I will turn the city of Rabbah into a pasture for camels, and all the lands of the Ammonites into a resting place for sheep and goats. Then you will know that I am the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Because you clapped and danced and cheered with glee at the destruction of my people, I will raise my fist of judgment against you. I will give you as plunder to many nations. I will cut you off from being a nation and destroy you completely. Then you will know that I am the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Because the people of Moab have said that Judah is just like all the other nations, I will open their east flank and wipe out their glorious frontier towns, Beth Jeshimoth, Baal Meon, and Kiriathaim. And I will hand Moab over to nomads from the eastern deserts, just as I handed over Ammon. Yes, the Ammonites will no longer be counted among the nations. In the same way, I will bring my judgment down on the Moabites. Then they will know that I am the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. The people of Edom have sinned greatly by avenging themselves against the people of Judah. Therefore, says the sovereign Lord, I will raise my fist of judgment against Edom. I will wipe out its people and animals with the sword. I will make a wasteland of everything from Teman to Dedan. I will accomplish this by the hand of my people Israel. They will carry out my vengeance with anger, and Edom will know that this vengeance is from me. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. This is what the sovereign Lord says. The people of Philistia have acted against Judah out of bitter revenge and long-standing contempt. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will raise my fist of judgment against the land of the Philistines. I will wipe out the Kerethites and utterly destroy the people who live by the sea. I will execute terrible vengeance against them to punish them for what they have done. And when I have inflicted my revenge, they will know that I am the Lord. One thought. The book of Ezekiel concerns the fall of Jerusalem and God's judgment on his people for their idolatry. The first 24 chapters concern God and Israel, God and Jerusalem, and the exile the people are being pulled away into. But God is not just some tribal deity. In the ancient world, most nations had a tribal deity that was their god. And many times in warfare, the peoples would see the triumph or losses as the triumph or loss of their god or another god. If they conquered a people, then their god was stronger. If they got conquered, the other god was stronger. But the Bible is very clear that God is not just a tribal deity for Israel, but he is the sovereign Lord of all. And that's what we see come out here in this next section of Ezekiel in chapters 25 through 32. It concerns God's judgment of all the neighboring nations around Israel. In Ezekiel 25, God pronounces judgment on Ammon, Moab, Edom, and Philistia. Now, Ammon and Moab, if you're able to remember back to Genesis, or you can pull up the episode on Genesis 19, these were the people that came from Lot's daughters. So Lot had two daughters, and their children then became these descendants who were living near the people of Israel. Edom were the descendants of Esau, Jacob and Esau from back in Genesis, and so they lived near the Israelites as well, and there was constant conflict between these various people groups. Philistia was a confederation of 5 major city-states on the coastal plain of Canaan, what we now know as modern-day Gaza Strip. And so in each of these judgment oracles, the Lord presents himself as the avenger of his people. He calls out each of these nations for their complicity in tormenting Israel, even though Israel had sinned against the Lord. Even though Israel was being carried away into exile, that was not an excuse. Israel's sins were not an excuse for these other nations to attack God's people. And so God is going to judge them for that. It is the Lord's prerogative to discipline his people, not these other nations. And so God will one day vindicate his people. And God takes the same role with us as his people of the new covenant, his church. In Revelation chapter 6, the martyrs are under the altar in heaven, and they're crying out with a loud voice, "O sovereign Lord, holy and true, how long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth?" And we see in the book of Revelation God avenging his people. When God's people have been attacked by the world and undergo suffering, God will one day make all things new by judging the wicked and vindicating the righteous. And in the meantime, then, we don't need to take vengeance for ourselves, because we have our hope placed in the avenger, in God who brings justice.